Real quick before we start this video, to any Ukrainians or really anyone in an area of threats, please be safe. The last few weeks of Serie A have been quite interesting, so here's a quick recap. I forgot to put a like goal, so if we can get 3,500 likes, that would be spectacular. Napoli were top of the league from match day 4 on to match day 15. Their first loss actually didn't come until match day 13. Napoli finally surrendered the league lead after a 2-2 draw against Sassuolo, and then a 3-2 loss against Atalanta after conceding 2 unanswered goals within 5 minutes of each other. That's when AC Milan took the top spots, and that would last one single week. A lot of people counted out the Serie, especially after losing Romelu Lukaku and Achraf Hakimi, but they haven't missed a step really. Inter took control of first on match day 1, but then dipped down to third after 2 draws and a loss against Lazio. And if you didn't catch what happened after the Lazio-Inter match, it was pretty interesting, to say the least. However, even with AC Milan and Napoli both starting out unbeaten after 12 match days, Inter jumped to first on match day 17 after their 4-0 demolition of Cagliari. Now fast forward to match day 23. Inter are now 4 points clear after defeating Venezia in the dying minutes. Milan, on the other hand, kind of dipped in form. They lost to Spezia the week before and then could only get a draw against Juventus. And thanks to Napoli's win against Salernitana, they overtook Milan for second, while Atalanta and Juventus were still hanging in there. Match day 24, however, was huge for Milan. Olivier Giroud's brace in the Milan derby kept Rossoneri's title hopes alive. Dear Lord, what a beautiful man. To make things even tighter in the table, Napoli defeated Venezia 2-0, making the gap between first and third just 1 single point. Matchday 25 gave us a matchup between first place Inter and second place Napoli. The game ended in a 1-1 draw while Milan would edge past Sampdoria, meaning AC Milan would retake over the top spot for the first time since matchday 16. Matchday 26, which was the most recent one, was even wilder. In a different way though. First on Friday, Juventus could only see a 1-1 draw versus Torino. Then late Saturday, Milan failed to beat last place Salernitana, which gave Inter the chance to overtake their rivals again, only then to lose 2-0 to Serie A's Robin Hood Sassuolo. The next day, Napoli was presented with a chance to retake the league lead. They couldn't do it either as Victor Osimhen had to save his club late on. Fucking hell, does anyone want the Scudetto? Lazio and Atalanta even had a chance to potentially climb up the table, but for some reason, not a single club in the top 6 could win last weekend. The next match day will be played out this weekend, and Lord knows whether I'll get this video out before the matches or not. We'll have to see. But looking at the table currently, first place Milan have miraculously turned it around after a bit of a dip in form. Their attack has scored the 3rd most goals, with Rafael Leao looking better than ever, having 7 goals and 3 assists. And age is just a number for Zlatan and Giroud. They have a combined 15 goals. And I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again, Theo Hernandez is a top 10 left back in the world. He is again proving that being essential to Milan's attack. 4 goals and 6 assists. So here's just a quick note, because I don't want to have to repeat the same sentence over and over again, and I'm sure you guys don't want that either. Whenever I talk about the top 5% or top 10%, that is amongst the top 5 leagues. So just keep that in mind. But Theo Hernandez is currently top 7 amongst all left backs for progressive carries, averaging 7.5 per 90. Sandro Tonali started off not so great when he was initially loaned to Milan, but he's grown into a solid midfielder alongside Franck Kessié. English defenders going to Serie A has been quite a weird trend. Fikayo Tomori is one of them, and he's been solid. 2.3 tackles a game, that is the 4th most amongst defenders in the Serie A this season. And we can't forget about goalkeeper Mike Maignan. He's in the top 15% amongst all goalkeepers for save percentage, and he's within the top 10% for clean sheet percentage. Inter Milan sits 2nd in the table with a game in hand. And despite losing Romelu Lukaku, Edin Dzeko has been a perfect replacement. 10 goals so far, 6th most in the league. And Lautaro Martinez has not fallen off one single bit. He has 11 this season. And a huge reason for the plethora of goals is because of one of their signings this season. Hakan Çalhanoğlu is a top 10 playmaker in the world. Along with 6 goals, he has 8 assists in Serie A. He averages 5.5 shot creating actions per 90, which puts him in the top 2% of all attacking midfielders. And he's also top 10% amongst all attacking midfielders for progressive passes, averaging 5.1 per 90. And you can't forget about Ivan Perisic, Marcelo Brozovic, and of course Nicolo Barella. Barella has 7 assists, and Perisic has 5 goals. Brozovic is highly important when it comes to being a reliable reliable outlet, as he has 7 progressive passes per 90, which puts him within the top 2% of all midfielders. Inter's defense hasn't missed a single beat. The back three of Milan Skriniar, Stefan de Vrij, and Alessandro Bastoni just keeps getting better. They've conceded just 22 goals, that is the second least in the league. Then of course we have third place Napoli. They've scored 47 goals, 5th most in Serie A. Napoli's midfield though in particular has been excellent this season. Fabian Ruiz has 5 goals and 3 assists. He's in the top 6 for shot creating actions with 3.4 per 90, top 7 for progressive passes with 6.8 per 90. Piotr Zielinski has been phenomenal as well with 5 goals and 5 assists, and Fulham loanee Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa has an average rating of a 7.1. Dries Mertens and Victor Osimhen have been the club's top scorers. They've both scored 7. Lorenzo Insigne is not too far off with 6 goals, all coming from the spots, and he has another 5 assists to go with that. But Napoli's biggest strength, however, is their defense. It's the best in the league. In 26 matches, they've conceded just 18 times and they have 13 clean sheets so far. Lord knows how Napoli have managed to keep Kalidou Koulibaly after all these years, but he has been as solid as ever. Center back Amir Rahmani has been solid too, and fullbacks Mario Rui and Giovanni Di Lorenzo are putting in some great work on the flanks too. 33-year-old David Ospina continues to be the man between the posts, and he has a save percentage of 72.8%. That's in the top 1%. Also, can we just talk about Napoli's kits this season? They had like the traditional blue kit, and then all of a sudden now I'm seeing the flame kit being played most of the time. And then you got the special edition ones like the Halloween kits. The goddamn Halloween kits. But my problem specifically is they've made 12 kits, and they all look terrible.
You look surprised.
You look ridiculous in that outfit.
Now, as of February 22nd, 538, a pretty popular prediction site, has Inter having an 83% chance of winning Serie A once again, 21% for AC Milan, and 12% for Napoli. Looking at the race for the top 4, 7 points separate 3rd place Napoli and 4th place Juventus. Juventus initially had a pretty rough start to their campaign, but they've gotten things back on track. This is definitely not like past Juve sides, despite Massimiliano Allegri being manager. The defense is 3rd best, but Juve's attack has been average at best. But adding in 17-goal Dusan Vlahovic with Paulo Dybala support, and don't be surprised if the football gods make us suffer and Juve manage 3rd. Atalanta are just behind them with the game in hand. They aren't the brilliant attacking machine, but still have the caliber to get results against other top teams. They defeated Napoli away from home and went unbeaten against Juve this season. Duvan Zapata has 9 goals and 4 assists, Mario Pasalic has 8 goals and 5 assists, and Ruslan Malinovsky has 6 goals, including an absolute blinder against Juve. He's in the top 1% for expected assists and top 2% for progressive passes per 90 with 6.5. And that's amongst attacking midfielders and wingers, by the way. Defender Jose Luis Palomino deserves some love as well. He's been a consistent performer for Gasparini's side. Lazio aren't too far away either. They've picked up the pace since the last time we talked about them. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic has just been brilliant. He ranks in the top 10 and top 5% of so many different categories, it's not even funny. And of course, you can't forget about Serie A's current top scorer, Ciro Immobile. Fiorentina, on the other hand, are 5 points back with the game in hand. Even though the club lost their top scorer in Vlahovic, Fiorentina still have the brilliance of manager Vincenzo Italiano. Loanee Christoph Piatek has already impressed since joining mid-season. He has 2 goals and 3 starts. And if he can find that former Serie A form that he had at Genoa, Fiorentina could be a danger. Behind them is Roma, 6 points behind Juve. Jose Mourinho has given us a ton of entertainment, but so has a reborn Tammy Abraham. 11 goals this season. I have no clue why no one is talking about this, because he's been an exceptional number 9. Lorenzo Pellegrini deserves some love as well, just fantastic goals, and he's been arguably Roma's best player so far. Now here's a couple other shouts. These are still contenders, but less likely that they'll actually see Europe. 9th place Hellas Verona have a top 5 attack this season. Gianluca Caprari has 9 goals and 7 assists, Antonin Barak has 10 goals, and Giovanni Simeone has 12 goals, which puts him 3rd in top scorers. 11th place Sassuolo have also been pretty solid in the attack. Gianluca Scamacca has 10 goals so far, and Domenico Berardi has 10 goals and 10 assists. This man is just a monster. And you can't forget about up-and-coming talent Giacomo Raspadori, who scored against Inter last weekend, adding to his tally of 8 goals this season. Torino over the past few seasons has just not really been that great, but this season has been different because they have the 4th best defense. Brazilian defender Bremer has been their top performer. He's in the top 1% for interceptions with almost 4 per 90. And shout out to Empoli, they just promoted and it cannot be stressed how much of a gap there is in competition between Serie A and Serie B.
Empoli, ma come azzurro è il tuo colore, Empoli.
And don't forget about the exhilarating relegation battle. Bologna with a cushion are currently 12th, however their form as of recent has not been that great. They did recently win against Spezia, which is their first win in 6 matches where they've seen 4 draws and 1 loss. Bologna do have a reliable striker in Marco Arnautovic though. 8 goals he scored and he's going to be very important for the rest of the season. Sampdoria and Spezia are just barely safe at the moment. Antonio Candreva for Sampdoria, he's 34 by the way, has scored 7 goals and 8 assists. But a single mishap for either of these teams and things could change drastically. Udinese are currently 3 points from safety but do have 2 games in hand. Cagliari are just barely hanging on in 17th place and striker João Pedro is currently carrying this team on his back. Venezia are currently the first team in danger of relegating. Sergio Romero proved a huge pickup for Venezia because he's pretty much the only reason why they're 18th right now. But if this club wants to stay up, they need to find a way to score. It's the same way for 19th place Genoa right now. Venezia have the 3rd worst attack, Genoa have the 2nd worst. However, in the last 6 matches, Genoa have picked up 4 points. No matter what happens, Matthias Descher will hold the title of best goal scored after he scored a goal with a water bottle in his hand. Finally, we have last place Salernitana, a club that quite literally almost got expelled from Serie A early 2022. 538 currently says that they have a 96% chance of relegating. So they're going to need a miracle. And it's going to take a lot because this team has conceded the most amount of goals and scored the least. So this begs the question, who will win the league? Will Inter retain glory, or can AC Milan win the title for the first time since 2011? Or better yet, will Napoli finally not implode for one season and send off Lorenzo Insigne in style? As for the relegation candidates, will João Pedro's goals for Cagliari be enough to survive? Can Venezia prove they aren't just the fashion merchants or the gondola frauds? Or will Genoa's 900 draws help them survive? Or hell, could Salernitana pull off a Leicester? And finally, will new Carpi FC please change this disgusting looking bat? But of course, a massive thank you to our patrons, Janos Balas, Alex Raw, Daniel Ortiz, Edgar A.S., Joseph Bonfante, Lacazette Goat, Windin Mintang, Senaid Ferhat Begovic, The Motor Drive, Victor, Dominic Griffin, Emma Che, Lewis, Joe Gallagher, Tomicus, Andres Was Never Here, Big Bird, Cash Getty, Exo, Itachi the Homie, Casa, Mark Morcos, and Nathan Trong, and also a massive shout out to the rest of our patrons. But if you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below in the description and the annotations above. You can follow my Twitter where I'll probably jinx every result for the rest of this season. You can follow my Instagram as well, follow my TikTok trying to get to 6,000, and of course you can follow my inactive Twitch. But until then, I'll see you guys.